everyone, and welcome to Ops Oops Origami. It is February 20th, 2022, and thank you for joining us. We will have no Chris today. He has got a case of the sniffles.
Mm.
But we have Richard and my lovely wife.
Hi.
Introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Katie.
I'm Rick, the old guy.
Hi, Rick, the old guy.
Hi, Catherine Ann.
So, Katie, tell us about what you do.
So I work for a small IT firm. I guess it's managed services, retail, all rolled into one. I've been there, I believe, for about 4 years, and I am doing virus removal, tune-ups, upgrades on pretty much your grandma's computers. I think that would cover the majority of my customers.
All right. What'd you do before that?
Mm, I have worked enterprise IT for a hospital doing help desk. I did a little stint at Spectrum, and I've done a lot of other really random assorted stuff.
So, Richard, say hi.
Hello. Good evening. I'm minding my manners tonight.
Okay. Be a good boy.
Yes.
So, Katie, you are definitely in a different world than Richard and I in
hmm
the work we do and the customers we serve.
hmm
Uh, but you've also worked in enterprise IT, as you said.
I have.
Tell us some of the unique challenges of what you do now.
Well, I would definitely say the huge difference between working with, we call them retail customers versus like an enterprise or a small, even a medium sized business, is there isn't any IT policies. So all of those little rules and everything that you make everyone sign off about what they can do and where they can save it, like none of that applies. There are no rules. It's like the wild, wild west. The things that I have seen and the things that people do to their own computers because they don't understand them, but they're all local admins, is very interesting. I definitely had one man who wanted to disable his trackpad on his laptop, couldn't figure it out. So he duct taped some trim from a wall to like cover it so he no longer would bump the trackpad while he was typing. I mean, that is kind of some of the stuff that I see.
Well, yet effective,
Yeah, I mean it worked.
sorta.
It did the job. Um but I think one of the things I really wanted to touch on in this environment, hoping that maybe some people that are not into the same IT as you and Rick and Chris, um, is I would say the biggest problem we've been having lately is all of the scams that old people fell false. They fall for them hook, line, and sinker. And sometimes I'm impressed with how good or realistic or how they use social engineering to play on a generation of people that think that you want to help them, that everybody on the internet wants to help them, as opposed to what they're really there for, which is get their money. Um, I've actually kind of been surprised by some of the things that I've seen. Um, a couple of them usually originate in emails, and a lot of times this generation of people likes to go through and parse through their junk mail like there might be something important in there. So, where we probably just ignore it unless something gets lost, they're opening everything. And they're going to find emails like, we owe you money, and it's PayPal or it's Amazon. And they end up doing a phone call, which turns into a remote computer session. Um, it's unfortunate because all of these remote softwares are completely benign and things that people in IT actually use on a daily basis. but these people have malicious intent. And it turns into, well, I'm going to get logged into your computer. Why don't you log into your bank? And I'm going to pull up this fake script that I wrote, like run a batch file on your desktop that pretty much is me inputting these numbers. So Amazon owes you $600. They overcharged you. So he slips up and accidentally refunds you $6,000. So now this person believes they owe scammer $5,400 and they transfer the money.
Oh, jeez. I've never heard of that particular scam, but wow.
And
I hadn't heard of it.
It's any kind of company that could possibly be selling stuff. So I'm sure there's other things like eBay, but what really blows my mind is these people don't even have to have Amazon or PayPal accounts. And they're like, PayPal owes me money. Well, geez, I want that $600 back.
Well,
No
and
way.
really, it's just an evolution of the old like overpay scam.
Mhm.
Oh, I have this cashier's check to buy a car to ship to my cousin in wherever,
Right.
and it's for 20 grand. I know you're only asking for 10 grand for the car, so how about I give you the cashier's check and we'll go to the bank and you just give me 10 grand and then we're good. And heck, I'll even give you an extra $1,000 for your trouble.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
Yep.
no. And 5 days later, that cashier's check finally comes back as invalid, and they're out the entire amount of money.
Mhm.
Oops,
Mhm. Yeah, that one is.
scammers are long gone.
That's hard. Our small business is trying to build relationships with banks because the people that realize that they've been had or they've been scammed, typically the next place to go is your bank. So you can close your accounts, freeze everything, get new cards, get new accounts, get new account numbers. And the banks that we have relationships with tell them, you need to bring your computer into us so we can make sure that there isn't anything left behind, because I have no idea if there's anything malicious left behind. I will tell you, most people, regardless of whether it happened from that incident or not, do have stuff they shouldn't have on their computers, whether they know it or not. But making sure there isn't any viruses, any malware, any kind of suspicious payload, and then also removing that remote software, so that possibility that somehow they're going to get roped back into it. Because these people also call and harass and yell at people and swear at them and make them feel awful. Like, I'm going to be fired because I accidentally sent $6,000 when it should have been 600. And they just play into the emotions of somebody that feels really bad and does honestly think this person was trying to help them and that was their job.
Whereas if it were a Gen Xer, they'd be like, "Well, sucks to be you, deuces."
I know that there are people that enjoy just messing with scammers like that, and like I appreciate that is a pastime that some people have. Since we got our new phone system at work, I don't get those people calling us anymore, so I can't do it.
So I had just seen 2 stories from probably less than the last week. One was it was at Walmart, I believe. One of the employees called the police because they suspected somebody was being scammed. So it was I believe it was an older lady. She was on the phone with her bank
Mm-hmm.
and she was trying to pick out gift cards that they were telling her to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So they like intercepted her and be like, "No, this is a scam. The cops are on the way. They will explain it to you and tell you that this is not legit." The other one was somebody at the post office I think they were trying to get like a check sent to some scammers or something. And the post office actually was able to stop them, like realize what was happening and save them from sending hundreds of thousands of dollars to their Nigerian prince, long lost cousin.
I wish
So,
there were more people that were aware of
Project.
that, because they're smart. I mean, they use Google and find out like what is nearby. So I had an old couple. They're like, "We'll go to Dollar General and get all the gift cards you can." And she was like, "So we went to Dollar General and we bought couple $100 in gift cards. And I'm like, what?
Wow. That's heartbreaking.
How does that make sense? Yeah.
It really is heartbreaking to hear that kind of thing, because these people
preying on their trust.
Right. Well, and their lack of knowledge. And then it's a lot of times that buying a couple $100 worth of gift cards and giving it away is taking meals off their table.
For somebody else, fixed income. Oh yeah.
So and maybe not being able to pay the rent or whatever, and that is really disturbing and troubling. And
I mean, with credit cards, I'm guessing you could at least dispute possibly and reverse charges. But when I had a guy who didn't have a credit card to give, so the scammers were like, "Do you have a checkbook?" Yeah. "Do you have a multifunction printer scanner?" Yeah. "Well, just fill out the check and put it on the scanner." All of his bank account information.
Wow. Well, wow. Because they can take that and print that out, except for the amount, and put in whatever number they want.
Yep.
My goodness.
I was like, golly, the nerve. Like, I know that.
And we're not overseas people doing this kind of stuff. These are American.
Well, yes and no. They're like, well, he sounded Indian or he sounded Middle Eastern. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I have to tell people that nobody is going to call you from any of these companies and try and do you a favor. It does not happen. You can't call Amazon, and Amazon is not going to call you.
Right?
Ever.
Yeah.
Amazon doesn't owe you money. If they did, they wouldn't be trying to contact you.
PayPal will never call you.
Exactly.
And good luck, like you say, Katie, good luck trying to call any of them.
Oh, no.
Right? Because you're not going to call those. There's no phone number to call them.
No, you know as well as I do, when you're trying to call vendors who are large companies, that you sometimes have to dig if you don't have like business cards or personal contacts from reps and stuff like that.
Right.
You're just like on the Norton page, contact us. Okay. See what happens. Right.
Well, we are doing some work with AWS, and AWS is getting so big that they are starting to use channel partners for everything, even enterprise level stuff, right? So you'll go to a large MSP that does enterprise MSP work, and that's who you're going to go to for your Amazon services and support and all that, because Amazon is just too big to do that anymore. And so Google's getting the same way. And
Azure's been pushing that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I try to stay away from Azure because, it's Azure. But I don't know, Katie, I've done your type of work before with very, very, very small businesses. And even when I was doing a lot of side work on my own, I would help people and whatever and charge my $75 an hour. And people, you go in and, all these pop-ups keep happening on, when I start Internet Explorer, all these windows open up. And I'm like, well, when was the last time you updated your antivirus software? What's that?
So
you have malware bytes, or do you have any kind of malware protection? What's that?
Another topic that has to do with the pop-ups that kind of ties back to these scams is, the notifications that you get on the bottom right-hand side of your computer sometimes are notifications from your browser or from Windows itself. If you don't have those turned off, now you know that people that I'm talking to do not have those turned off. And some of those scams and pop-ups will say, McAfee found a virus.
Right.
But it's a notification from Chrome or Microsoft Edge. So you click on it and it takes you to a website, and the address is like you mashed on the keyboard 4 or 5 times, like .com.
Yeah.
And it's a fake website to purchase McAfee or Norton. Pretty accurate as far as logos go, but when you're looking at a blank web page, like for WordPress or something, and they have the Latin phrases kind of showing you what font looks like. Well, if I scroll to the bottom of the page, like that is all over the place. So that they just made enough website without scrolling that you could basically enter payment information and you could spend $400 on McAfee. People think that that's actually what it costs to purchase antivirus. But that one, some of those were really tricky.
Mhm.
Like just trying to figure out what that notification was coming from. And now I'm just turning off all the notifications. I tell people, if you don't know what it is, you should call us at work. And it'd be like, do I have McAfee? No, we didn't sell you that. So it's fake.
Right. Yeah, at least your customers and the people that you're dealing with actually have that kind of stuff on there.
Well,
I don't know where we're at in the world because I haven't dealt with anybody's personal computer in a long, long time. I'm hoping that people have grown up enough to understand that they need that sort of protection, but I don't know. Apparently not.
Well, at least you have Windows Defender for free. That isn't the worst thing in the world. In fact, probably better than a lot of the shit tier AV vendors.
it's not the worst thing.
That's actually what I use here, but I'm very well protected in my habits and at the perimeter of my own network.
It's also different if you know what you should
You
be
know,
doing.
Brian, because you set it
Yeah.
up. But so there's that. But I don't do a lot of just crazy weird web surfing. I work and I read about work. So
That's another thing is people are like, well, I didn't do anything bad. I wasn't on any bad websites. I'm like,
how do you know?
Here's the thing though, like
Mhm.
people are thinking like I wasn't looking at porn. Like that's where they think you get viruses from, but you actually get viruses going to like MSN and getting one of those like
Yeah.
call this number because you have a virus and you have to call Microsoft right now because of adware and like old ladies and like crocheting patterns and stuff like that. That stuff is full of crap.
Right. Yeah, I
Full of
see that stuff occasionally, but I'm smart enough to. I shouldn't say I'm smart enough because that's kind of demeaning to the people in that might be in the audience.
They
But
You're
don't work in
experienced enough
IT.
on the topic.
Experienced
don't
enough,
know.
yeah, good word. I'm experienced enough to know that that's just crap, and I'm just going to close it and ignore it and whatever, you know.
They're like, ooh, free patterns. I have to pay for these on any reputable websites.
Yeah. But all I have to do is install Bonsai Buddy and I can do whatever I want. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. This thing will even store my credit card information. That's awesome.
That's terrific.
It's got
Exactly
a
what I
coupon
was
printer
looking
and
for.
an ad blocker
Oh,
and
coupon printers. Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, remember back in the day it was the browser helpers, all the little
Yep.
toolbars that ran across the top of the browser for, we'll find the best price on this little gizmo for you.
5 or 6 toolbars.
Yeah.
So like you only get to use half your screen and they fight each other.
God,
Mhm.
and yeah, I can't imagine how much they've progressed since even those days.
I don't think toolbars are as big as
No.
people that are
Not as big
installing
as it
stuff to speed up their machine. So there's like 800 make my computer go faster
Oh yeah.
bots or whatever. Yeah. Free random stuff in the ad section. on
Driver
your-
installer helper
Yep.
programs.
Nothing
Yep.
is going to make your computer any faster than it was the day you got it. That's
Mm,
probably the fastest your computer has ever been. So
I guess without a hardware upgrade, that's probably true.
yeah, I mean, there's no software that you're going to put on the computer that's going to make it run any faster than the day you bought it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So because it comes from you, like when you sell somebody a computer, it's coming with all patched up and all that stuff for Windows or whatever
Yes.
operating system. It's all patched up. You've got
Mhm.
antivirus on there, and there's no garbage on it,
Nope.
right? So it's not going to get any better than this right now. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably should. I would think that you might be a conversation that you guys have and say, look, this is as good as it's going to get. This is as fast as it's going to get. If you see anything on the internet says it's going to make your computer faster, don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys say anything like that, but
It's usually it's more in somebody that didn't buy the machine from us, but they're coming in because they need our help. And I'm like, the
Right.
stuff doesn't help. Like it's actually making it worse that you have 4 antiviruses and a
yeah.
speeder upper program.
I remember that from back when I worked for an MSP, that we'd go to somebody's computer and McAfee was one of the biggest offenders, right? McAfee would be on it and Symantec or whatever AVG or Avast back in the day, whatever, and they thought they were doing themselves a favor by being overly protective. And like,
no, yeah, McAfee and Norton are the biggest resource hogs. I try to talk people out of those unless they're like real fresh into a renewal where I feel bad, like, well, you paid a bunch of money, you might as well call me in a year. But yeah, just all of the trials and all the free stuff, the things that come with your update to Adobe Reader, like you can get, is it Avast? Avast or AVG pretty much
probably AVG
comes whenever you update if you don't uncheck all the boxes.
Right.
And then you just end up with all this stuff that fights each other. And if you're lucky, your computer's just slow. If you're unlucky, it's blue screening and you have no idea why.
Well, that screen dump will tell you. Or I'm sorry, the kernel dump will tell you.
Can you read memory dumps?
I have in the past. So.
That's a class they should have in college.
Yeah.
How to decipher and find a proper memory dump reader. I am a lot better at parsing through Event Viewer until my eyes are crossed.
Yeah. Well, we used to work for a guy that was insistent on proving it wasn't our fault. So whenever anything happened, so we had to read through the logs and whatever. And yeah, until your eyes are bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Been there, done that.
But I mean, the things that I learned in college or at WCTC did not prepare me properly for working at a help desk for healthcare, which did not prepare me for this by any means. Did I think I was ever going to have to take a computer apart? Because you don't do that really at the IT department. You don't.
Right. Well, you don't really do that much in an enterprise environment anymore either.
You re-image or you call Dell or you call Lenovo and you say this shit's broken.
Yep, and you get one of their people come out, or the thing goes in the recycle pile and you just give them something else because it just takes too much time and too much effort, and that person is down and you can't afford that. So
and then you re-image it and give it to an intern because their computer died the week of exams.
Speaking from experience. Yes.
So, hey, it's me with the little golden hippie in a sexy pose. Golden hippo in a paint me like your French girls pose. Drive-by downloads and ads. Yeah, that's a big thing too. That if there's no other reason to have ad blockers, it's because of crap like that. Because almost every ad network has gotten bitten at some point in the past.
Yeah, we don't have ads at this house. I mean, if I really want to click on something, I have to go on LTE. Do it at my own discretion.
Yep.
Sure.
Here. Like, now that you paid us some money, here's a bunch of stuff you didn't want and we'll make your experience worse. Yes.
I'm going to get the whole AVG package. I'm going to have the tune-up and the driver updater and the VPN tunnel that's actually bullshit and the antivirus.
So look at any PC that's sold by Sony, Dell, or HP to consumers.
I look at those every day.
The amount of shitware that's installed right from the factory is obscene.
Yep, and it's been like that. That's been like that forever. It's been like that for a long time. Yeah. And when I was working for that MSP years and years ago, the very first thing we did to these computers was go through and uninstall all that garbage. The only thing that got left on there were like Lenovo has, I can't remember what it's called, but they have a utility that will go in and check for BIOS updates and device drivers.
Lenovo Vantage.
And Dell had the same thing. I don't know if they still do, but then we rip everything out except for that stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
exactly. And there's so much stuff and bloatware. I guess you called it shitware. Bloatware is
bloatware is what I've always called it. But even phones are like that now. You buy a phone from AT&T and it's got all the AT&T bloatware on it, or T-Mobile, or if you buy it from your carrier, the phone's the same way. That's
Guess
why
you're not buying some beautiful.
I follow the Vukich line of thought that I'm just going to go right to the manufacturer and
Yeah.
buy their phone, and it's not
I
going to.
want vanilla Android.
Right.
I don't want Samsung's re-envisioning with all their apps where they basically rewrite the same things, only half-assed. Your email client that is almost usable. Your picture app that's almost. Why are you rewriting all these things that are already baked into Android
Right.
and doing it poorly? You're
Ooh.
wasting resources.
And
If
doing
you're
it
gonna
poorly
do
is
something,
actually-
add something new. Do
If-
something new.
Doing
mean,
it
they have
poorly is
something-
actually giving them too much credit because most of them are doing it very badly.
Well, yeah. I mean, like they have their own browser and their own well, most of them have dropped like their own navigation and stupidity like that. But I know like Verizon for a while, they had their own navigation. It was garbage. Why? Why?
Mhm.
Why are you wasting time on this crap?
I don't know.
I guess that's the question. Why does Microsoft need to have their own browser? It doesn't make them any money.
Well, and now they're having pop-ups saying that like Chrome and Firefox are trash. Like you could only trust Edge.
Well, and the current Edge is Chromium based.
It is. It's
So-
Mozilla based, isn't it? Yeah. So
It's Chromium. Yeah, so basically they dumped the IE back in. I mean, all that stuff is still there. Any embedded. So like the embed components of IE that some programs use, that's still IE in almost every case.
Because it's part of the desktop.
Yeah, it's just it's stuff that's been around forever.
Right. Well, there's even some parts of Edge that won't come off. You can uninstall Edge, but there's parts of it that are going to stay.
Yeah.
So,
And is it just going to reinstall the next time you have an update? Probably.
Well, yeah, they have some extra stuff added on for the Pixels that you don't get with regular Android, or just vanilla, straight from the. There are some extra things you get, some extra features you get with Pixels, but
it's as close to the stock Android.
It's not offensive. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
it's like
mad that it
yeah.
already has the Google stuff that I'm already using on it.
It's not garbageware.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Unlike
Yeah,
that's why I'll never buy another Samsung phone.
Mm-hmm.
No, they make great hardware and awful software. It's junk.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Controlling
All
the
right.
eyeballs.
It's not because we're doing the 3 wide. I wonder if this is any better. Yeah, that doesn't help any. Whoa, now your
I am.
I think I need glasses.
your autofocus is flaked out.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. You up your light level on your face just a smidge.
Here, let's see. No,
Give
that
a little
doesn't work.
extra conjure. Oh, that. Yeah.
I mean, Brian, you're frozen and Rick's blurry.
There we go.
There we go.
Yay!
Well, yeah. So, hey, it's me is correct. It's about like, it's getting you into the Samsung ecosystem. It's trying to differentiate themselves from other Android phone. I understand why they're doing it. I understand why they think they're doing it. It's still stupid. They're trying to stand out with their branding.
Like, I can't have this phone. It doesn't have the Samsung Health app on it. Like, just can't even handle it.
It's like I can't even.
How am I going to sync that to my Fitbit? It's Samsung. So something else I wanted to talk about as far as end user experience, a lot of other things that I've been finding, because my guess in enterprise, nobody has touched Windows 11, but it's kind of messing up, grandma and grandpa's computers and stuff like that.
So hardware specific.
It's very hardware specific, but it doesn't make any sense. So the laptop I'm using right now that Brian bought me, it's a 7th gen, so it's 4 years old. Does not make the cut. This won't make the cut. Nope, it's not 8th gen. It needs to be 8th gen Intel processor. or
But there
higher.
are some exceptions to that. There's some like 5th gen stuff that actually does pass. And you know why?
No.
Oh, if I remember right, it was the processor that was in the original Surface.
I hate
Oh,
Surfaces.
it was
But
Oh,
you
I
it was
love
can
like
mine.
you can get an HP with a Celeron Silver and 4 gigs of built-in RAM, and that will take 11. But
Oh.
my Asus with the 7th gen i5 and 8 gigs of RAM will not. So it is making some computers completely unusable because when they're available and they're eligible, they get installed and it's not easy to like get it back.
no.
You only have like a week
You
to
have
go
7
back.
days or 10 days or something
Yeah.
like that to back up if you're going to do that.
They make it really easy to click on the button to get 11 if
It's
they
right
think you're
under the
eligible.
update button.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's like it's showing on my computer here right now.
Mhm.
So it's like that same Windows update symbol, only it's got like a little blue dot on it.
Yep.
So you think, oh,
Blue
I've got
dot
some
means
updates.
11 is waiting.
Yep. So if you accidentally click on download and install instead of download and install updates,
Hmm.
you get 11 whether you wanted it or not.
Now, which version of Windows do you have? Do you have Pro or
And
is it
Pro.
Home? Pro? Okay.
I probably have home.
And I actually updated my laptop to 11, and it's a little weird.
It's
It's
not
different.
awful on a machine that can handle it. It's not awful. It's a facelift. It's a
Right.
facelift.
I have
Yeah, but it's a crappy facelift.
I have
Well-
Windows 11 on one of my on a Lenovo laptop, and yeah, and I have it on my Surface, which I love, by the way, Katie. The damn thing is
I mean, the reason I don't like Surface is if you need repairs. It basically
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
not
doesn't happen.
maintainable. Everything's glued together, and
yeah.
they're awful.
That's I bought an extended warranty for mine, so
You have a hardware problem. You basically need a new one.
Right. Well, and after I had it for 3 weeks and dropped it and bent the corner, and it was difficult to turn the thing on and off, and I sent it in, and for $50 I got a brand spanking new machine. So, but to go back to Windows 11, it's they're both working out fairly well. There's a few things that I can't do that I was doing on Windows 10 that just doesn't seem to be compatible. Some
Like
of my
what?
ham radios, some of my ham radios.
Some of your software.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, some of that stuff is going to take a while to catch up, but it will.
Mm-hmm.
And I said the same thing when we moved away from Windows 7 because I was a Windows 7 fanboy. I mean,
Windows 7 forever.
They had to drag me kicking and screaming from that, right? I think I skipped. I was the last
one were hot
it was
garbage.
awful. I didn't like it. I mean, a lot of people didn't care and whatever, but when we were working at the same company, Brian, I was actually told at one point, sorry, you have to upgrade.
8. I had 8 on a laptop and it was atrocious.
It's awful.
Atrocious.
Well, Windows 8, they took the damn start bar away from you.
Yep. You had the charms. You had to like brush over the right-hand side to get it.
Yeah. And then Windows, what was it, 8.1? They gave us the start bar back.
Yes.
I think.
But
And even still, I was like, you know what? Whatever. And hey, it's me is correct. The Windows 10's okay, but I still miss Windows 7, and it was very stable, and it did everything I needed to do, except for some of the weird silliness that we had to have XP machines for. Remember IBM SANs and provisioning the fiber channel? I mean,
most of that was because of the very specific Java version that was almost 10 years old.
I don't miss having to make sure that there was the correct Java and Flash player for stuff to work.
Oh, yeah. I had to find where to download from Oracle some very old Oracle or Java so I could log into a Cisco ASA.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a 5515X or whatever it is? It was
painful.
How old was that, Brian? They haven't updated that particular OS in 8-9 years.
If you're talking about the one I'm thinking of, that particular code they're running, it went end of life like 6 years ago.
Yeah, So
it's still being used.
Oh,
yeah,
it should not be in production.
it is.
The specific version that they're on is within a minor rev, plus or minus, of the version of the ASAs we retired to switch to Palo Altos, I think 11 years ago now, or at least 10 years ago now. So that's how old that particular version is that these people are still running in production.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do something.
Yeah,
that.
I'm retiring it. It's going away. So
Good.
Yeah. But
I
I got
like
to figure there's all kinds of stuff going on there that I have to sort out and figure out why they're doing some of the things that they're doing. But anyway, but we were talking about small business and single user kind of environment. So my bad.
I'm just like, I've worked on Cisco stuff a long time ago, but couldn't piece anything together now. Config.
Me either.
Guess
I have a
that's
high price consultant for some of that stuff still.
Do you
Yes,
still?
I do. Yeah. Well, I'm not allowed to use them anymore, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I like to compare operating systems to military units. Like the next one is awful, and the one you just left was the best thing ever. I mean, I feel like that's kind of how people feel.
It almost reminds me because, Hey, It's Me touched on that, was that Microsoft has had a history of every other OS was garbage, right? So
yeah.
So there was
Vista
Windows
was
95.
garbage. Everyone loved XP.
Right. Well, even going back before that. So Windows 95. Well, even going back before that, there was Windows 3.0. And then it got better with 3.1 and then 3.11. And then after that, when they went to Windows 95, things started to get like, holy shit, what are they doing? You know, because Windows 98 was kind of okay, but then it got better with Windows 98 SE, second edition. They cleaned up a lot of stuff that broke, right? And then Windows 5 was supposed to come out and they dragged their feet and whatever, and it turned into Windows 2000. Well, that was crap as far as I'm concerned. And then Windows 2003.
No, you're thinking ME.
ME was trash.
ME is what you're thinking. 2000 is fine because that was the first on the NT code base.
You're right.
That was
right.
NT5. It was NT5 basically.
Yeah, Windows ME. You're right, and that was Millennium Edition. God, what garbage that was.
Yeah.
But 2000 and 2003 wasn't horrible as far as servers go. But that's when XP came out, and XP was rock solid. That was the last 32-bit operating system, though, too. So,
no.
Well, it was the last one. No,
like
Windows 7.
Purely 32-bit.
Yeah. No, because you could get XP 64, but I don't know that many people used it.
You still see XP. Like I remember
Brian,
when we were on vacation, that one elevator that was busted, it was just like the XP startup screen every time we got in
Vegas?
it. No, we've never been to. No, I thought it was in Jamaica.
We've been to Vegas.
Well, I don't remember. Weird.
You don't remember going to a wedding in Vegas?
I mean, I remember that. I don't remember Vegas proper.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Did you just start getting loaded on the plane on the way to Vegas? Is that what happened?
Do you not?
We were not on the Strip. I know it's off topic, but we were on the Strip for about 3 hours, and that was it. We were doing... Enough. Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
You probably saved a lot of money doing that, staying away from the city.
Oh, yeah.
No, in that 3 hours, we spent plenty of money. Too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ate brunch at Paris. That's what we did.
No, brunches used to be the way to go in Vegas because they were cheap.
We had champagne brunch. So it was like stupid.
But have you ever paid $120 a head for a brunch?
No.
Brunch
that was
buffet?
The brunch at Paris.
Wow.
And we just wanted to go somewhere inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It was years since I've been to Vegas, and we'll wrap up the off topic. But we would go to Circus for their buffet. The rooms were cheap, and the buffet was cheap, and the food was edible. So that's what we did. And then we went down the street to play our games. So, but that was in the early to mid 80s. I mean, and I don't think I've been there since then. It's been a long time since I've been out there, and don't miss it, to be honest with you.
We were actually really happy in the hotel that we stayed at, which was not on the Strip and was not on Fremont. They said it was the hotel / casino that people that were in Vegas would go to, and it was relatively cheap. It was nice. It was a nice hotel. There were a whole bunch of restaurants, and then that silly mermaid, she had all the kids coming. coming.
Yeah, we stayed at the Silverton,
Mm-hmm.
which is off
Is it
the Strip.
downtown?
No.
No. Well, I mean, depends on your definition of their downtown. I mean, it's downtown-ish, but it's not on the Strip.
Nope.
Because you have downtown, the Strip ends on downtown, and you got that square block that is kind of like down. And I guess it's all covered in whatever now. It's like it's kind of like a shopping mall for
Is that
casinos.
is that Fremont that you're talking
Hey,
about?
about
Street,
Fremont?
yeah, Fremont Street.
Yeah,
and all
we
that.
weren't there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Fremont's like, isn't that like the old Strip?
Yeah.
Old Vegas.
Well, it's not the old
Yeah.
Strip; it's just downtown,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where
Yeah,
sure.
it's not in Fremont either.
Nope. Nope.
But that's
Wow.
all covered in.
I mean, it's like 6 blocks away.
yeah.
But
Cheaper, not
oh, yeah, way
crowded,
cheaper.
good, clean rooms, and our friends had a Airbnb nearby
Airbnb that was within walking distance.
with pool and a bunch of extra
I mean,
space.
we didn't walk because we're lazy, but it was like less than a mile away. They had a 5 or 6 bedroom Airbnb,
Mhm.
so their entire family all stayed in the Airbnb for the wedding.
So we just got picked up and hung out there every night.
That's cool.
So there was a couple more topics that I had like sent Brian because I just wanted to have some ideas about what to talk about. I talked about scams, Windows 11 browsers.
Well, hey, it's me brought up embedded devices, which
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with those. Some like PLCs and things like that, but they're not typically Windows devices. But
well, even things that are not what most people will call embedded, but use embedded versions of Windows, like ATMs, kiosks, elevators. There's all kinds of things where there are systems that might be running something on the back end, but they're not like directly like the elevator. That little touch screen wasn't actually running the elevator.
No, it was just
It
like
was just a
showing
pretty
you
user
menus
interface.
or like
Yeah, or,
places you
that
could
one.
go on the resort.
sure,
Yeah, so it's basically a kiosk or
It was a slideshow.
digital signage, things like that. But where it is terrifying is like ATMs that are using Windows XP embedded still.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. There should be actually. You would think that there would be FDIC rules and FTC rules and stuff like that to get away from those issues, but
You would think a lot of
yeah.
things.
Well, the government requires so much weirdness on other areas that really aren't that critical. So,
But the government itself isn't even listening to its rules. Having dealt with some municipalities, and I'm not going to name any names, but
voting machines,
voting machines, definitely not secure, not up to date.
The IRS is probably the biggest Windows 7 user on the planet. They need to upgrade and they haven't. And I'm sure that there's XP machines all throughout the federal government.
Small businesses that should be HIPAA compliant that aren't even using antivirus or Windows 7 or firewalls.
Department of Homeland Security, maybe they're finally through them now. But I remember seeing a thing just a few years ago where when DHS was first stood up, like in 2002, they ordered like truckloads and truckloads of Windows XP machines, like 10 times as many as they needed.
God damn it, we're going to use them all.
They were still deploying them a couple of years ago. These brand new in the box.
That's right.
16, 17-year-old Windows XP machines, still deploying them because, well, damn it, they paid for them.
Wow. Wow, that's really
Terrifying.
something. Yeah. Homeland Security.
I mean,
Brian, what's the beverage du jour?
oh, well, we do have some matchy.
Yeah, I mean, mine's gone, but we had
I made
grapefruit margaritas.
I did make pink grapefruit margaritas.
Very nice. And he's got his
but that's gone, so it's Ardbeg. I can't remember if it's Oogie Dale.
I'm impressed that you can go from pink grapefruit margarita to scotch.
I'm versatile.
Just brush your teeth then, and it'll just taste amazing.
Yeah, that would be a rough one right now.
That would be,
especially to go back to scotch after brushing your teeth. No, the scotch the other direction would probably be worse. Going from scotch to a margarita.
Yeah. Well, you can just brush your teeth with the scotch. Be like Kesha.
That was Jack Daniels.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Department of Homeland Security
Theater. Yes.
Basically. We pretend to do security here.
Yes.
Well, and they're just... They also impose requirements on external entities, other businesses in the United States that are of strategic concern, that it's effectively like a rejiggering of PCI or high trust or whatever.
Right.
But once again, it's like it's all the same stuff. I don't know why they couldn't use the same stuff.
Right.
But it's always...
Because they had a contract to buy something else.
Well, yeah, probably. But it's the same vague kind of, well, you need AV. They don't tell you it needs to be turned on. They don't give any like hard recommendations.
It should be managed.
Because if they gave hard recommendations and any of them backfired, they'd be on the hook. If they give soft recommendations or soft mandates where you have to have something filling X role, and it better be secure, because if you screw it up, you're on the hook. Whereas if they told you exactly what to do,
they'd be on the hook.
Anybody, they'd be kind of on the hook, because whoever could say, well, we did exactly what you told us to do, and it wasn't secure. So I'm sure that's why. Like, I mean, you remember going through PCI requirements, Rick.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's super vague. It's like everything's so open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Seems like the worst thing to be open to interpretation.
Well, yeah, it is. But I understand why, because, like I said, if they gave like hard recommendations, or you have to do XYZ in exactly this way, what happens when that doesn't actually cover what needs to be secured? They're screwed.
Yep.
Whereas this way, they can dictate that you do all these things and not actually hold any responsibility for it.
So governmenty.
Yeah.
Very good. Extra governmenty. That should be a flavor of toothpaste.
It's like
government.
It's like what is it, about 15, 18 years ago? Everybody wanted to be ISO certified, which I found to be ridiculous, because you define what your policies are, and then you tell some company that, yeah, I adhere to my own policies. Okay, you're ISO certified then.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. Like, although high trust and SOC,
and we hired a librarian to keep it all straight.
Yeah. But high trust and SOC and SOC 2 and whatever, they're very similar. But like you said, they do make those recommendations. But what they say is, you need a policy for this. Well, you make your policy and you say, okay, well, I'm sticking to my policy. Right. So I don't. just because a company says they're high trust compliant or they're high trust certified or they're SOC 2 certified, that doesn't carry any weight at all to me personally. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me. It means stuff to other bigger companies. But
I don't understand why. Well, it's because they don't understand what those regulations actually mean.
Well, that just turns into certifications that you can get as a person that works in IT.
Yeah, I can. Well, back in 2005, I could have spent what $2,500, gone to a 10-day boot camp, and come out with an MCSE, and never have actually logged into a server. Those boot camps aren't around as much as they used to be, but you can still get your Microsoft certificates by taking an online course or going through some kind of face-to-face school for a certain amount of time. And you have all that stuff. You got all these certifications and all that, and it doesn't mean boo because you have no idea how to even log into a machine.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I mean, we discussed, me and my boss discussed like what it would be like now if I were to do A+, because I don't have any certifications. I've taken plenty of prep classes. That was the majority of my associate's degree, was prep classes for Cisco. Never took any of them. And he was like, I think you're to the point now where you're going to over understand topics that Microsoft is kind of like playing down to another level. He's like, I think you would probably be frustrated and not score as well as you think you would, because the stupid stuff that I don't want to say stupid, the ridiculous stuff that I do sometimes that I don't think Microsoft thinks anybody does.
Right.
I mean, no.
Well, I got my A+ certification in either it was 1999 or 2000, and my grandfather didn't. It doesn't expire. And for me to tell somebody I've got my A+ certification shouldn't mean anything to them because I've had it for 20 plus years. So why would it? Yeah, it's crooked. Why would it mean anything to anybody for me having a 20-year-old certificate or certification?
Because I took an A+ class almost 20 years ago, and it doesn't make any sense with what I'm doing now.
Right. All that stuff is so much different than, I mean, back in the day, they had what you call an adaptive test scoring system. So the more answers you get right, the fewer the questions there are. It took me 4 minutes to get through that exam. 4 minutes. Yeah. I got up and went back to the proctor and gave her a blank piece of paper and the pencil that she handed me to do notes and do math on. And she goes, well, what's the problem? And I'm like, I'm done. They quit asking me questions. So, and I think right now I could put the thing on the wall or whatever, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. It simply doesn't.
Well, at some point, the experience trumps everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm doing stuff that I didn't understand 4 years ago, nor did I think I would ever do. I thought
you're doing stuff, Katie, that I don't think I can do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to do that kind of work for 10, 15 years. And I have no idea if I could do your job now.
I'm shoestringing stuff together sometimes.
Yeah.
Like emailing the team, like, this is what I did. It worked this one time. I don't know if this is going to be like a way that we can do something or if I just got lucky. Sometimes I feel like luck is what gets you through retail.
Sometimes you hit the button 9 times, it doesn't work, and the 10th time it does.
Yeah.
Or someone
else I could probably do it, but I'd be mad all the time for having to do it in such ridiculous ways. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, my big thing is trying to preserve like the desktop and the workspace of that person the best I can so that it comes back to them functioning and looking basically the way it was when it dropped off, regardless of what I had to do.
Yeah, I'd make a terrible piece.
Even if that means I take a picture of their desktop and I'm literally putting the icons back where they had them, because some people are that particular.
Yeah.
Well, in a retail situation, you can't tell customers to just suck it up like you can in enterprise.
Right.
Like, no, we had to wipe your crap. I hope you had everything backed up on the server.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
sorry.
That was all the pictures I have of my children, and I'm like,
I guess you didn't love them enough to back them up.
Yeah, you didn't love them enough to just take the free amount of storage at Google or AWS or whatever to keep your stuff up on. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I could do what you do anymore, Katie. I just don't know if I could do it.
It's heartbreaking to tell somebody that, like, I can't recover their data. I have data recover partners, but I tell you that you're going to pay a minimum of $1,000, more than likely more than that, but a minimum of $1,000 for someone's baby pictures. And I tell them, you have to sit here and think about this. Like, I don't expect you to make a decision right now, because now you have to put a dollar value on pictures of your children.
Right.
Take some time.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to be in that spot.
It's not fun, because it came in working and it didn't leave working. So that means I broke it.
Yeah. Well, that happens to everybody that's in IT at least once.
You're the last person that touched it. I'm like, yeah, 6 months ago. What happened since then?
Right. Well, I don't know. I'm working for a small company and went to, I think I told Brian and Chris a couple of episodes ago that I was working for an MSP, went into one of my clients. They wanted their hard drive expanded. And like, do you have good backups? Oh yeah, we got good backups. So all the tapes are right here. And Partition Magic. I don't know if you remember that, Brian, from back in the day. They had Server Magic, which did it on Windows 2003 servers because Partition Magic wouldn't do the bigger operating system, and blew up.
Used to do it.
Yeah. It blew it up. I totally roached their data drive, ruined it, and up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, had to call them up on the phone. Here's what happened, and I felt awful, felt terrible. But it cost them $25,000. They had to get that data back. It was very critical. It cost them a lot of money. Plus, they bought new servers and whatever because it was time, and their backups weren't. Well, where's the tape? Here's the backup. Well, it's right here. There's nothing on that tape. I'm afraid you are in deep shit. And I felt awful.
Tested your backups. You don't have backups.
Yep.
If you haven't successfully tested your backups, you don't have backups.
Right.
If you think that an external hard drive somehow lasts longer than the hard drive in your computer, you don't have backups.
Right.
I'm like, hey, that's a hard drive in a plastic case, right?
Yeah.
What?
I'm a huge proponent of online backups, through AWS or GCP or whomever that you want to, whatever. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's really
most people are already paying for a certain amount of storage that they're getting free with Google or Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Microsoft 365 installed, you have a terabyte of storage in OneDrive? Like, just
hook it up. It takes a couple
over there.
of clicks. Yeah. But most of my stuff, like my pictures, are really about the only thing that I care about saving, and it all goes to my online provider.
Everything is in my Google.
Yep.
Amazon
that's
Prime.
what I use too. So it goes to
Google.
Google.
If you have Amazon Prime, you have unlimited photo backups.
Yep, I do have that.
I have like 4.5 T of photos up on Amazon Prime.
I didn't know that was a thing. I might have to switch everything over to there because I pay a little extra because I've outgrown the free amount of space at Google. So
you should talk to Brian about that.
I do pay them. I think it's like $100 a year to get an extra T of non-photo storage, just because there's metadata, there's extra files that go along with all my raw files. Yeah. There's,
but really, I don't have a lot
there. But yeah,
I'm one of those users and I'm not a typical computer user. I don't do what a lot of people do on a computer. Like I said, I work. I do some web surfing. I play very old games, Command and Conquer, if anybody's interested. And that's about it. So
when he says Command and Conquer, he means Leisure Suit Larry.
No, not that old, but that was a hell of a fun game. That was such a fun game.
I've never actually played it. I'm just aware.
It was hilarious. It was.
I'm not even aware of it.
Oh, okay.
You need to Wikipedia that. It was a fun game back in the day, and it was just stupid and it was disgusting and but it was fun.
Disgusting.
It could be very vulgar.
Well, now I'm intrigued.
It was fun. But even back in those days, it was Doom, Duke Nukem,
Doom.
you know, and an Unreal
yeah.
Tournament, that
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Those games were always fun. But if my computer were up and to just blow up right now, I really wouldn't miss much, you know, because most of
No.
it, like it goes to OneDrive, either goes to OneDrive or it goes to Google's or, you know, whatever.
There's almost nothing on this machine.
Land of the Lounge Lizards.
Lounge
It's
lizard.
me knows what we're talking about.
Is that
Yep.
different than lot lizards?
I think that's one of the Leisure Suit Larry games.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was a whole series.
Lounge Lizards were just like anybody that just kind of hung out at CD lounges. When you think old school Las Vegas and their smarmy lounges, and you know, maybe New York and Chicago, where you got these smoky whatever, and you got the guy, the crooner up there that's icky.
And they had a conversation pit.
oh. The word pit is involved.
Well,
Say no more.
Ah, that's awesome.
Say no more. So I have one more topic that I wanted to address on my list, and it's something that I didn't think would bother me, but it happens occasionally, and I have no explanation for it. But it is rare to be, or more rare to be a female in IT. It's even more rare for them to be doing hardware repairs on machines. And there are literally some gentlemen that can just not think that I could possibly know what I'm talking about. So I just have to have my boss repeat verbatim what I've said, and then they understand. Please.
Hey, you got a man back there that I can talk to?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Pretty much.
I'm pretty sure Brian wrote down everything that you needed to say tonight.
No.
That's how ridiculous people are. I've said that to be
I know.
absolutely ridiculous. But that's how ridiculous people are. I just don't understand.
It's like, I'm not a secretary. I'm not the assistant to the owner, the CEO. Like, I'm literally the person that's fixing your machine, and some people just can't handle it. There's no way that my brain could be technical. Shouldn't be thinking about like
That woman brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
women can't
Kids
be
and-
CEOs, women can't be truck drivers, women can't be architects, women can't be these things and whatever. That's just such an antiquated and outdated frame of mind. I just don't understand it. I don't get it at all.
It's a majority of older men that have this issue, but it is not across the board. Like, I feel there are some women that don't think that I could possibly know what I'm talking about, and there's some younger men that don't think that I could know what I'm talking about. And I think part of it comes across because I very, very rarely use technical jargon, because nobody that I'm talking to or helping has any idea what I'm saying, that I've had to basically use layman's terms to explain stuff and make analogies.
Your
So that means I
thingamabobber
don't.
let the magic smoke out.
And they're like,
You know what? But that skill is probably the most important skill you have right now as an IT person. Being able
it's
to
the
explain
most
things
important
to
skill that
laypeople.
any IT person has, is to be able to translate technical stuff. Yep, I'm reading Shauna. Yep. To be able to translate that to anybody that isn't IT. So if that means that your marketing people don't understand, or your HR people, or your sales people, they don't understand what that means, you have to figure out a way to make a connection. And sometimes it's me just pointing at stuff and saying different words that I've heard other people say. So you didn't hear desktop, but I pointed to a desktop and said CPU, and you're like, oh yeah, my CPU. I got to bring that whole thing in.
Yeah. You mean the hard drive? Back when I was doing what you, all I brought was the hard drive. I'm like, where's the rest of
Really
it?
weird. You took that out yourself.
Yeah, the first time I heard that, I was really confused. I'm like, the hard drive's like this thing. Well, back in the day, it was this thing. But
I'm like, the black box on your desk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, just go ahead and leave the picture window.
Do I need to bring the screen in? No, I don't need to.
Honest to God, Brian, you laugh. I heard somebody describe their monitor as the picture window.
You try to talk IT with a 96-year-old woman.
Yeah. You know, the thing that shows the talkies.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
Yes. Yes. What do you mean you couldn't get my favorites? How am I supposed to find all my knitting sites? I don't know. Just Google them again. Hit the little star, fill the star in. You'll be fine.
I'm kind of guilty of that, having that issue, because it's like having your address book on your phone where everything's in there. So you just push on somebody's face if you want to call them, right? And it's the same issue with my favorites bar. You know, the one you run in Chrome. It's the one that runs underneath the URL. And I just click on those.
We know where it is, Richard.
Yeah, sorry.
Everybody watching.
Maybe not everybody that could be watching this knows.
Everybody that could possibly be watching.
But I
knows what the favorite part is.
I don't know what the URL is.
Is
right?
your favorite part showing? I mean, how do you know?
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate it. I do. You're now my best friend, and he's not. So yeah, if that were to go away, I wouldn't even know the URL to my own vCenter server.
But it's interesting
that's not
because
quite true, but
you don't have an account created for Google or Microsoft or Firefox, it makes it really hard to move some of that stuff to a different computer.
So I do get grandmas, freaking out a little bit because, where are my knitting sites? I would, if I were to lose my favorite bar that's right underneath the URL thing, Brian, if I were to lose that, I would be upset.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot invested into my collection of bookmarks.
Not I. Nice. It says YouTube and Facebook.
Google. Yeah, I don't have a lot of bookmarks. It's all in the favorites bar.
I don't even have that.
Those are.
Are they one and the same? I mean, I don't know, because there used to be like a bookmarks directory. I don't know if that's all.
You have to tell it to come out. By default, it doesn't just come out.
Shy.
It is. Like it'll just come out for new tabs, but it won't come out all the time.
I'm actually looking. I'm like, where the hell is the bookmark? Where's the bookmarks now? I don't even know.
You can do it.
Bookmark manager. Here it is.
Yeah, but look at the settings. Is it showing all the time or not?
I'm just so not a desktop person anymore. It's too funny.
I feel like I'm a wealth of not useful information in literally any other environment. Like I would be useless anywhere else.
I doubt that. You might feel like you would be useless, but in very short order, like if you were to jump back into an enterprise or even a small business, medium business, or enterprise, whatever, you would be up to speed in no time. And you probably, I don't know, maybe you may not, but you would probably like it because you wouldn't have to deal with, it's a different level of stupidity, right? But not
enterprise IT almost made me want to die. It was the worst. I would rather help old ladies.
You were at a couple of really unfortunate places, I think. I really do. So.
I mean, maybe, but you never know. The next one could be just as bad or worse. And the fact that I can tell my boss, I've had enough of this crap, I'm going home. You can't really replace that with a salary.
Yeah. Well, I can tell my boss that. I've had enough for today. I'm just done. I can't do anymore. I'm walking away from this crap.
Yeah, more often.
But he knows that after a couple of hours, I'm going to come back to it and finish my work. So
I wish I could just come back to the office.
Hmm.
Just because I can explain how to get to some settings doesn't mean I want to.
What did Shauna say? She's disappointed in me? What the hell?
I don't know. Apparently,
Because you don't
OneNote-
keep everything in OneNote, which is
No.
easier to lose than your bookmarks.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't Chrome sync your OneNote. Come on, Shauna. I'm disappointed in you.
I am. God, I rate she's such a disappointment. That's pretty rough. You're not a
That's true,
disappointment.
Shauna. We love you.
Yeah, we do. There's no question about that. Truth.
I'm assuming that has to do with something else and not agreeing about Shauna.
No. Oh, you're one of those suckers that has a Microsoft account?
Oh my God.
So, Shauna, let's talk about this statement for a minute. So, we had touched on it briefly, but I'm pretty sure the only way to deal with this is to just ruthlessly, mercilessly step on his dick in public, figuratively, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
mean,
newish guy
you have
needs
to literally just embarrass him.
Yep, he needs a public smacking. So, yeah.
That's
And
when
that'll
I
mean
pull out my
literally-
IT jargon
Yep.
and just lose them.
Yeah, because no, you're not gonna. Someone isn't gonna dismiss Shauna's opinion and go to the male supervisor instead, and probably get the same answer or a worse answer. Nah, bruh.
Are you sure that these chicks know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Oh no, we just got hired to do these things. No, not at all.
All that estrogen coursing through their brains.
It doesn't
Their
do
little
any
brains
good.
that can only handle knitting and whatever other things estrogen. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't think I
Yeah,
can.
you probably want to back up a little bit from that, Brian.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you what the
So he's not even good at his job. Oh yeah.
Oh, he's already above the help desk.
So this is so what I said before, doubly so.
Yeah.
Now you can grind him into the dirt and not even feel bad because you'll set a precedent that you're setting an example for everybody else that wants to question you just because, Shauna. Well, just because you're a woman.
And just be careful with your verbal smacking. Make sure you understand and know exactly what you're saying. Right? So plan it and plan it well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, dude, you suck at your job. You can't be questioning me.
That's not what you say. That's too easy. That's not what you say.
And you throw his laptop in the garbage.
God damn it. I'm never going to hear the end of that.
That's not what you do either.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
That
I'm
actually
with you.
happened. That guy right there, he threw my laptop in the trash.
You just talk to them about how shitty their hard drive is. And they're going to be like, what?
Uh-huh.
I thought there was a pet here by me, but no.
No, he's up here sleeping by me.
Where's Doggo?
He's by Brian.
Well, there you go.
He was with me all day. Brian was gone, so he's got to get some Brian time in. I'm probably not as cool.
Passed out.
He had a tough day. He doesn't think it was a tough day, but we played indoor fetch real hard today.
Oh.
Like, you wouldn't have been able to get in the house had I not fixed the rug, because it basically was pushed up completely against the front door. Got the zoomies real bad. Went for a walk. Met my brother. Just overwhelmed. I'm sure he's exhausted. Poor Ziggs.
I got to get over there and meet him.
You
He's-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely loves people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, everybody loves Uncle Rick.
Mm-hmm. You got sausages in your pockets.
I can.
Or you just happy to see us.
Just happy to see Ziggy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You bringing up your list, Brian?
Yeah. So another thing we wanted to talk about. So one of the things
Is this the
that
onboarding checklist?
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So I ran across this on Reddit, and this is something that I've done a little bit of thinking on, but I never really finished.
Holy Christ, that is quite a list.
Yeah,
I
so let's
mean, you were trying to make one for me.
yeah, I was trying to help you guys.
Even though like the higher level enterprise stuff does not apply to micro small businesses,
No, it does not.
and definitely not retail.
No.
Well, this is absolutely an enterprise
Yes.
checklist.
It's
I
Well,
mean,
a lot of this will actually cover SMB because there's a lot of things these days that SMBs do that was traditionally only enterprise.
I suppose. I mean,
Even
because
simple things like a domain name or your SSL certs.
right.
So, and these are things that had recently been issues at Katie's place of employment. Uh, Effectively, when you onboard a new MSP customer, there is a lot of ground you need to cover,
mhm.
and you don't even know what questions to ask.
You don't even know what you know.
And even like this, you can't print this onboarding checklist off and just like slide it across the table to your customer. Hold on, I'm gonna share this in the comments just because I think it is.
It's a lot.
It, it's a lot. It's not perfect. It's
No.
going to be like ITIL. Use the parts that make sense. Ignore the parts that don't.
Mhm.
Right.
Add on the parts that make sense for you but don't fit into this.
Mhm. Exactly.
I mean, it would take a long time to actually go through all of these things, but I think anyone that is in any kind of role where you are on a semi-regular basis spinning up with new customers. So it may be a MSP situation, or like me in a consulting situation, some of this stuff is also relevant.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. God,
I
even
mean,
for
it's
me,
basically
for my company, like when we just
yeah,
bought a
an
company late
acquisition.
last year. Yeah, if we
Exactly.
had half of this information, we would have been a lot better off.
Yes, and every company does a horrible job of onboarding acquisitions. Well,
Yeah.
every company I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
Even with micro and small businesses, you're like, man, I should have asked that.
Yeah. And like I said, you can't print this off and just slide it across. This
No.
is something, this is like this is a framework for a guided discussion with
Mhm.
the most technological people you can drag
Mhm.
out of their environment, which for an MSP can be anything from their on board or on staff IT people to the secretary that happens to remember a thing that happened once upon a time,
Or
or
the
accounting that
CEO
pays a bill for a thing.
or the
So,
owner.
yes. So, I mean, depending on the level of business, a lot of this may not apply,
Mhm.
but pick what does and go through it because this is a pretty comprehensive list. This is what I was working towards and just didn't have the time to sit down. So the guy
Actually,
that did this, yeah, Yeah.
I'm sorry. This could actually be converted into a nice Excel spreadsheet with links to tabs to get like
To
where's
actually
the one?
collect information versus just
Mhm.
check marks. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So AD domain name. Well, actually, we'll come back into to identity
Names.
management. Yeah, and it, you know, where do I saw that one? Who are the power users? Who are these people? Who's admins? Whatever, like this. In you know, you can link that to an admin tab or a
Yes.
power user tab with, you know, name, address, phone number, username, that kind of thing. Yeah, this is an excellent document.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, there's stuff, especially. So this is clearly a systems-y kind of person that built this, because a network person would be asking more different types of questions,
Mhm.
but the system side looked like it's very well covered. Networking and security could definitely be expanded,
Yeah,
but that once again is it will vary so much. This is a hell of a good start.
yeah, it is.
Mhm.
I like that internal DNS servers, quick checks, domain names managed, and then he's got a tip. Enable DNS aging and scavenging. I did that at a company, Brian. You kind of remember this probably.
Yeah, and
And
how bad did that bite your ass?
Oh, holy cow!
But despite the fact that it's something that should be able to be turned on
Yeah,
and left on and work fine, so that yes, but don't do it willy nilly if it's already turned off.
yeah. If it's not on, be careful. Yeah, there's
Yes.
probably a reason why.
Yes.
Ooh, this
You're-
website hosting stuff, that's definitely bitten
Yeah,
us
that-
before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know. But DNS
Brian,
register-
why isn't this working? Oh, because they let their domain expire and
yeah,
it's up
their
for
domain
grabs.
expired 2 days ago. They should probably look into that.
So
Oh,
that's why
yeah,
the email stopped working.
that's why the email doesn't work.
Ugh.
Yeah, and I found that in how many minutes?
Yeah, like 5. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I get stuck, I send stuff
Well-
to Brian. I'm like, Brian, what the heck?
I've been known to do the very thing. Only he charges me a lot more than he charges you.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
He's free to me.
Wonder if I could get this guy to come on.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Benno Van Weidenberg.
Where is he
That's a
located?
sweet name. I have no idea. Electric unicycles? I mean, come on now. Who doesn't want an electric unicycle?
I don't know.
Well, you're too clumsy for an electric unicycle.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Need a kilt, flame shooting, flame throwing. Oh God.
That Russian tank we looked at the other night. One of those guys.
Oh yeah, sure, one of them. I don't know what that has to do with the electric unicycle.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Big pipes. I need a unicycle, an electric unicycle, a kilt, and flame shooting bagpipes.
Not the bombardic rockets or whatever the term was.
No.
I found him. I PM'd you his info.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm sure I could find this on. It was on the MSB subreddit. I'm sure I could track him down. Just see if he wants to join us. Just interesting to talk through it and see what's going on. Maybe both of our viewers could
Yeah, all 2 of them.
benefit.
You could have 3 viewers if you don't have me on.
But well, it's so the thing that attracts me to something like this is clear. So, I mean, our whole reason for wanting to do this show is just kind of like talk about things and make things better, make people better at doing their IT stuff. I
Or be
mean,
better users.
yeah, or something. Well, so somebody that would develop something like this
Mm-hmm.
is somebody that would have a similar goal, I would assume,
Mm-hmm.
because probably works for an MSP. That's the only reason it would make sense to make this.
Right. This is
But
from experience. This isn't just like I meditated and this is what I came up with.
correct. So, I mean, some MSPs are very narrow-minded. They're like, "Oh, this is proprietary information. Everybody is a competitor." No, they're not. 99.99999 ad infinitum other companies are not your direct competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Why if you can do something to make all of them better, if nothing else, when you onboard a new customer, that new customer will suck less when you onboard them if other MSPs are better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Ooh,
don't
now I have a
particularly
story.
I don't particularly like cleaning up the messes of other people. It's very profitable, but it's kind of lame. It's boring.
So
I'd rather make things better because there's something to do that helps the business versus just remediating things that were done wrong. Let's put
So
it
can
that way.
I tell a generic but
You can
somewhat truthful
absolutely
story?
tell a generic story.
So we just onboarded a couple new small business clients. Um, there's been a lot of MSPs or people that probably live or hang out in the same area that the company I work for does, but they're ditching all of their really small, micro, and retail customers. We've felt this on numerous sides of where we're geographically located. And we had a physical neighbor of one of these customers call. I talked to her probably for about 45 minutes one day when she called in, and she was like, yeah, our IT company sent us a letter saying basically they're not going to support us anymore. Like, we don't fit their business model. So normally I kind of ask questions about the business and try to get an overview, find out who the contact information is, explain that we offer a free business walkthrough to new clients so we can actually physically come on site, see what you got, and give you recommendations on about what you need to do in order to meet your IT goals. And I messaged my boss and I said, hey, I actually have the contact information for their current MSP. Like, do you want to call the guy before you call this lady? And he was like, no, I want to go on site first. I want to see what she has before he tells me what he thinks she has. So he goes on site, and this was a salon with like 7 or 8 computers, security cameras, a backup server, just kind of like a lot more, because we've been to salons where everybody has their own iPad and they just do their own thing and there's not even any computers there. This company, oops, sorry. Now I don't have a mouse. Dang it. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so they were paying $25 a device. So there was 7 or 8 devices for patching, and something else, and they were paying that for 7 years. So
$25 a month per device.
For 7 years.
And how many devices did you say there was?
There's like 7 or 8 devices.
Okay. So a couple $100 a month they're paying.
Right. This came out to like what, $6,000-$7,000 over the course of 7 years. So my boss goes on site and he says, yeah, there's actually that many computers there. I don't know if they're actually using the backup server for what it's for. And they were told that they couldn't get the security cameras on their phones or off site or anything like that. He's like, and all of the computers, while they are Windows 10 and they are relatively new, like I think 8th gen processors, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the numbering system for Windows feature updates, but it's usually like a year and a month. So, 1709 is the fall of 2017. That was the feature update. Most of the computers were on 1709 or 1803, which is the spring of 2018. And I'm like, 7 years of paying for patching and your feature updates are no longer supported by Microsoft.
Wow.
So now the
Paying
conversation
for patching, you're 3 or 4 years out of date.
Right. So my boss finally does call the outgoing like MSP after he made a visit, and he was like, "Oh, well, that $25 doesn't count. That doesn't include feature updates." And I'm like,
What? It's a patch. It's a patch.
"No, that's extra."
How is
That's
he
not
doing any
patching.
kind of security patches or whatever if he's not doing the feature?
Well, I was like, they're not supported, so how is that patching?
Wow.
That's a bad pricing model. Well, that's a bad
But I can't even see
More than a
model.
bad
That's a
pricing
bad
model.
business model.
But even security patches, how is it getting security patches for something that's not supported? So they weren't.
Probably not.
Yeah, they're not. It's not possible. So I don't think it's possible. I should say it. I should state it that way. Katie, you know,
There's probably some things they're getting, but not.
they're
At
not
some
getting
point,
what
it's
they're
kind
paying
of
for.
dry up. And
Yeah.
once that feature update goes end of life, they get any.
Because remember, they
I
set
don't
up
think
Windows
you get-
10
I don't think
that
you get any
there was
patches.
never going to be another operating system after Windows 10 until like
Wow.
last summer. So it was like, well, we'll just stop supporting like the really old versions because I think it started in 15 and 2015 is when Windows 10 patching with the features. So like 1503 or 1509 is like the beginning of it. We're currently at 21H2 waiting for 22H2 to come out. And you were 4 or 5 years behind. Now, if you do the math and they had 8th gen processors, it means it literally was never updated after you bought the machine.
So, how did they stop Windows 10 from automatically installing those updates?
I've seen
Because unless you've got
machines-
Enterprise Edition, you can't indefinitely stall those updates.
and you know that almost nobody that we're dealing with has enterprise
Oh God, no.
operating systems.
They
It,
probably have Windows
it's home, maybe Pro.
Yeah.
And you
But-
cannot pause Windows 10 for longer than a week at a time.
Aren't the feature updates though manual? That's not part of the automatic updates. I don't know.
I
Again,
think
'cause
that
I'm not a
might be the
desktop
case.
guy, but
I think you can skip them if you actually like. You can skip ahead if you choose to manually update. But
because like on some, depending on the machine and when it came out and whatever, you actually have to do the upgrade assistant or update assistant to actually get.
you don't need to do the update assistant to get the feature updates. It will help you quickly get to the current feature, but you don't have to do it.
Actually, Windows updates. If you keep clicking on that button, I just did it with a computer that I rebuilt not too long ago, and it only got up to 1909.
Oh,
1909, and I kept hitting check for updates, check for updates, check for updates, right? And 20H1, 20H2, neither one of those would come because I'm trying to get it to 21H2, and none of those would come up. So I downloaded.
You did the update assistant. Did it take it?
Yes. and updated the thing to 21H2.
Mm-hmm.
And now that machine is good to go. But it probably would have had I given it time, but I didn't want to take the time. I wanted to get
Right.
the thing done.
It would have eventually got you updated.
And this is on a 10th generation core or i7. And
Right.
yeah, it's one of the work
Basically
PCs that came in from our purchased company. So it's an oddball machine, right? So it's whatever. So I just took it and I had to replace the little this guy hard drive.
Uh-huh.
So then NVMe drive and
Mhm.
reinstalled the OS and took care of it. But yeah, I kept clicking on check for updates and nothing. So I downloaded, like I said, I downloaded the update assistant and got it done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. That is like 50% of my job right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
so I'm kind of wondering because there was nothing left. It was done at 1909. And the patches that were done when 1909, it was done with 19. I don't know if it patched anything past 1909, right?
And I don't think 1909 is supported anymore. I think we're at 2004, and that's going to be probably dropped off here.
Right. And so I did the 21H2 update and then check my updates or check for updates, and a whole slew of updates had to happen. And now it's caught up.
But those little updates that aren't features apparently is what that MSP was charging $25 a month to update.
That's just wow.
I'm like,
they should have been doing the whole thing. There's not taking care of your customer, right? Because your MSP, the whole idea of being an MSP is being a partner with your customer. Because you sell your service as being, you don't need an IT department. I will take care of it for you.
Because all the companies we're supporting don't have the funds or the means or the staff to have an IT department.
That's correct.
So it's us.
Right. So my company, Whiz Bang It MSP Corporation, is going to be, we are your partner. We are going to take care of your IT needs. You won't have to think about that anymore. And this is what I'm charging you per machine per month. Right? I'm going to charge
crazy.
You, which is
that 7 years of you don't have to worry about it went by.
$25 a month to make sure that a laptop or a PC is simply updated is, in my opinion, a lot of money.
That's a ripoff. But the fact that it wasn't actually doing
well, even if they were doing all the feature updates and all that kind of stuff, you're logging into it once a month or so, and you spend an hour on the machine. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of money when it just seems like a lot of money. $200 a month to do nothing but make sure the machine's getting updates.
Vastly overstating it. Probably 5 minutes tops.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, an hour a month to do all 8 machines.
All of them?
Yes.
Even that.
But when I worked for the MSP, we guaranteed the customer, you're paying X amount of dollars a month per machine, and we guaranteed we will spend this much time working in your environment to make sure you're good to go. That was what we did. So it could be we were truly supposed to be the partner of our customer, and I would feel bad. I would feel as an employee or whatever of an MSP by not doing the work that we said that we were going to do for them.
I felt bad for them, removed a couple of times from it because obviously I didn't work for that company and I don't typically work on the business side of things. So I'm removed several times from that responsibility, but I feel bad. That's just a shitty business practice.
It is terrible. It is terrible.
You don't have to know anything about IT. Anyone that's spending money, you're paying that much money for almost literally nothing. Because those tiny little patches don't matter.
That's like hiring a mechanic to just say, okay, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars a month to make sure my car is always in good shape. All he's going to do is put air in the tires. That's all he's going to do.
Hasn't done an oil change in 3 years.
If he even sees your car.
Right. Yeah. So.
Well, I drove by once. I mean,
it looked fine. It wasn't on fire.
Tire
You're good.
Yeah.
So
So
we're just
I didn't get a call from Microsoft telling me how out of date it was.
right. That's a whole other conversation. But that's kind of like the market that we're filling is people that are dumping off these really small companies or like, oh yeah, sorry, I know that we took retail customers last year, but we're not anymore. So sorry. That's a lot of people. There's a lot of very small businesses. There's a lot more very small businesses than there are large businesses.
oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, our country runs mostly on mid to small size businesses.
Mm-hmm. And the whole micro business where it's like one person is the company, is the only employee, is the IT staff, is the only one that actually works on the floor. We have a lot of those.
Yeah.
They definitely need us. They need us more than a medium-sized company does. Oh God, Brian.
Definitely. What's that?
I thought you were stifling a yawn.
Yeah. Been a long day.
Yeah, you did do some outside stuff today. If you want to wind down the IT talk.
All right, well, tell us, what did you do outside today, Brian? That's got you so worn out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had to run up to Cambria to my uncle's place.
So you could.
Oh, just sight in some rifles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Guns.
That's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because you're doing what next month? Or 2 months from now?
Did you hear that the guy that owns what's the campground?
The one that we go.
In September, the guy tipped over with a heart attack.
Which campground? The one that we go to?
Yeah, the guy that owns that place. He had a heart attack in September.
Oh.
Like, did he live?
Oh yeah, but he's in. From what I understand, I went to an RV show in Jefferson today, and
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, we like that campground, and they're like, oh, he had a heart attack, and he was struggling, and hopefully, and
Oh,
like,
totally
places
didn't
are
hear that.
open.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
wasn't that far from there.
Yeah, we got a weekend coming up soon. Well, soonish.
Well,
June, right? Is it June, July?
I don't even know. I don't even
I
know.
remember.
I don't even know.
I just know I prepaid for like
half the
6
campground.
spots.
And
Yeah,
we don't
half the
even know when we're
campground.
going.
Yeah, so it was like $2,400 I paid for.
Oh boy, we better get that weekend so I can get it on the calendar so she doesn't book it up on us.
Oh
So-
God, yeah.
I also need to
Want
know what
that
to
to happen
do with.
again.
We need to know what to do with the dog.
Take the dog. We took ours.
Yeah, but you
No.
have
Oh,
your
we do have a camper.
We're in a
weekend.
cabin. Yeah.
And they don't permit the dogs in the cabin.
Not in the cabin that we're staying in. We gave that one to people with multiple tiny dogs.
Oh,
My ex-wife has the cabin that
With her two
That's
little
all the-
wiener dogs.
oh,
So I don't know what we're gonna do with Ziggy. I think
we'll figure it
Oh,
out.
Not.
You'll figure it out.
I'm like, oh God, we need to borrow a camper so our dog can sleep in air conditioning like he deserves.
I found one today that I really, really,
That'll be
really
fun.
like. Ooh. Ooh.
Don't do it. Yours is
Oh,
fine.
you're gonna
I'm not.
upgrade? You're fine. You don't need
Well-
a fifth wheel because then you need a bigger truck.
No, I can pull the one I found today. I can pull it with my truck. 38 and a half feet. It's
Dang.
a nice, it was a, yeah, it's a, and it was, the price on it was really good actually. It's 56.5 and yeah. So I mean,
How many slide outs?
All of them.
3.
3?
Yeah.
So
Sounds
this.
like all of them.
Oh no, your current one has 2, right?
My current one has 2. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it slides out the back or out the front?
No, there's one on each side so there's like a kitchen slide and on the other side. So there's the opposing slides. And then there's a slide up at the top for the bedroom for the bed to go up.
Oh.
So the bed is typically your bed is parallel with the length of the camper. This one's
Right.
perpendicular and it slides out the driver's side. So
Girthy.
you have
I thought you
Yeah.
meant it slid up. And I
No.
was like, wow.
That would
We
be
did
kind
look
of
at one
cool,
where-
like an elevated roof,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
pop-up roof.
So you can jump on the bed. Duh. That's what you need
Yeah.
that for.
We did look at one today where and Jenny looked in, she walked in, said nope, and turned around and walked out. But you stepped down 2 steps into the master bedroom, but above the bedroom was a loft for your grandkids or whatever to go sleep above the master bedroom.
Nope.
And I'm like, that's a big fat no, but it would have been cool to put like storage back there or something like that, but whatever.
Could you store my dog back there?
Well, I have 3 of my own, and if they got along fine, yes, not a problem.
I don't know. I'm not putting money on it.
No.
Ziggy doesn't do well with other puppers.
Haven't,
If dogs come at him hot, he does.
which
not
has been
react
every
well.
dog we've met so far.
Well, some are fine, like Scout right
The
across
dog
the street.
across the street that he's only
Super
been like
chill.
18 feet away from. Yeah, they seem to be fine.
But he wants to meet. He wants to go meet Scout. But the dogs that are all barky, like up on the corner, oh yeah, he's.
So Rick, I'm not even comfortable like walking Ziggy by myself because there's some yards in the neighborhood where dogs are at large. And I don't know. I mean, I might be able to hold Ziggy on the leash. I don't know if I could break up a dog fight.
No, and that's something you don't want to do either. You don't want to get your hand down in there or whatever because you will get bit. That happened.
There's a house that has 2 dogs that are super barky and aggressive, and apparently they don't have like an invisible fence, and they're not in a lead or anything because they came out to greet us on our previous walk.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah, and then
But
both
once they
the
make it
owners
out,
came running out. She was like half naked.
Yeah,
yeah. Once they make it out of the street,
they were on the street.
Yeah, they were on the
once
street.
as
They
far,
didn't
as
make it
far
to
as I'm
us.
concerned, they're fair game, and they're going to have to dig lead out of their dog.
Yeah, Ziggy would have made a mess of them.
Yeah,
These were just like sheepdogs. They were
Oh,
all
okay.
bark.
yeah, I get it.
Ziggy.
Maybe
would've won.
I should bring Davey over and introduce Davey to Ziggy.
It's just very confusing because if you see Ziggy interact with the cat,
Ziggy's terrified of the cat.
yeah.
Wow.
Little ass Rico. Okay.
Oh, now he's little.
Big ass Rico. He's terrified of.
Mhm.
Who's a 1/5 of his size.
Rico's 15 pounds. Ziggy is 50.
Wow.
A
Rico's
third.
15 pounds?
According to his last vet visit, sure
Well,
was.
he doesn't look
Chubby.
that big.
He holds it well.
Yeah, he does.
I understand.
But we've had cats that were 18, 20 pounds. So, and they looked like they were 18 or 20 pounds.
He's almost a fupa dragger, so.
Yeah, is he getting there?
Oh, it's bald.
It's more noticeable because it's bald. Now you know all the things you could possibly want to know about my cat.
No,
There
but
you
like, Davey would probably be fine because I don't think Davey would come in all.
Like, would he come in
Crazy.
like hot, like
No. He would,
chihuahua?
he would tramp up and go, "Hi, who are you?" He would be all interested in that, but I don't think.
Yeah, if somebody comes in like barky and crazy,
Or growling or anything.
yeah, Rico,
Rosie would.
Ziggy
would
Ziggy
be
will
like-
match that energy, but be serious about it, whether the other dog was or not.
Yeah.
Because some dogs think that they're all big and tough until they meet a dog that's big and tough.
That's big and tough. Yeah. So yeah, Rosie would be the only one I would really be worried about meeting Ziggy then, because Rosie would just run right up and say, "I'm the boss."
Yeah,
she's
well,
very
yeah, no, you're not.
yeah.
It's
So,
just
yeah, her and Davey got into it Christmas Day, and
yeah.
Jenny. Well, we did things. We gave them all a treat, and we didn't think about it properly at first, and they started to scuffle over little bits and pieces that were left over on the carpet, and they started to squabble, and then it got serious, and then Jenny reached down to try to pick one of them up and got bit.
Mhm.
And
Oh.
got a good bite. Yeah. So it was painful for her for a couple of weeks. So
Oh,
You said that Ziggy like caught your pant leg or something.
yeah.
But I mean, we know he's 100% pit bull.
yeah.
Even if he wasn't bred to be mean, like I read about like why they were bred the way they were bred, and it was interesting because they were bred first of all to be bull and boar bait, which kind of blows my mind. I don't know why bulls would be interested in taking a pit bull as a bait animal.
Right.
Then it was decided that that was too inhumane to have these dogs be bull or boar bait. So they got into dog fighting instead.
Well, because that's clearly not a problem.
But they were breeding the pit bulls to be reactive to dogs, yet not reactive to people. So people could reach into these dog fights and pull out their dog and not be injured. And I'm like, well, that's interesting because he is very mouthy, but he is not even putting any pressure on you. He likes stuff in his mouth, but he's not biting.
Oh no, absolutely not. He's got like a lab mouth where he just kind of, it's like super soft.
Which
He
is why
doesn't-
we were surprised that he was purebred.
Right.
Yeah. But
Wow.
but see, my brother's pit was the same way. He'd like play really hard, but
Mhm.
if he like accidentally like felt himself biting on like your arm or something, he'd like freak out and like immediately stop and just
Yeah.
freeze.
Like, oh god,
Because
I'm
he knew that
sorry.
that was not a thing he was supposed to do.
Right.
So
And
sorry.
apparently that was like bred into them, which kind of blows my mind.
That is
Mhm.
kind of weird. Because Rosie's like that. We'll go play in rough house or whatever, and she does like gentle little whatever.
Yeah.
But she will nip, right? She'll nip and just grab and do the little pinch kind of bite. And she
Yeah.
likes doing that to my ear, the little shit. And yeah, that hurts. So
Yeah, you should meet him. He's a good dog. We're
Yeah, I'd
just
love to meet him.
super
Oh God,
paranoid.
he loves people so much.
He is. They're like pit bulls are horrible guard dogs because all they want to do is meet who's ever coming in the house.
yeah.
And my brother came over and he was like, I rang the doorbell because you didn't answer to my knock and I wasn't sure if I could just come in. I was like, you can definitely come in. You're going to get jumped on because he's super excited.
I don't
But
think
he's
I've
not
ever
going to be mean.
I don't think I've ever rang the doorbell to come into your house. I just walk in.
Not even sure what it
yeah.
sounds like.
Sometimes FedEx rings it. You know.
Oh.
You know.
You know, Brian. You know.
I mean, that'd be a good idea.
Anna's got two huskies. Huskies play hard, but they don't like hurt each other. But if you see two huskies playing, man,
It
looks-
sounds awful.
it looks and
awful.
sounds awful.
Well, her dogs have actually
Gone after each other.
Yep.
And that can happen.
I think it's just those dogs, her two dogs are super, super close. They don't like being separated from one another. They're just whatever. But that just means that they're like brother and sister, right? Remember, you fought with your brothers and sisters, right? And you know, sometimes blood was visible. So it's the same thing with them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Shauna's still there.
I don't know, but she said bring the pup. He can sleep in our tent.
with their two huskies.
It would be an interesting meeting.
Huskies could probably hold their own.
Huskies are like so not like any other dog.
It's because they're not super barky. They're not going to generally come in hot. Because so Chloe, when we walk her through the neighborhood, those dogs that would get all stupid, she just completely ignore them. Then she just keep walking, like whatever they. That's their problem,
right? Nice.
She would walk right past all the dogs barking, like head up, like
do 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 do.
I'm going on a walk.
I'm going on a walk. You're not.
So it's been interesting to have somebody like freaking out every time because he remembers where all the houses are that has dogs that he's seen. So he's all like, "We're coming close."
Well, yeah, there was that house. So there was I don't even know. It was looked like a wiener dog / basset hound. What the heck
It
was
was
that
long
thing?
and low. That much I know.
But it was off leash and apparently nothing going on. The lady was right there, but it came in hot towards him, and he gave him a little like nip on the ear, and it went. It ran.
See ya.
Like,
And the
well,
lady-
never mind.
The lady was like, "I get it. Your dog's on a leash. Mine isn't. That's not fair." I'm like,
And that's
"Nigga, you're
that's
freaking lucky
also
that
a
lady
thing.
didn't lose her mind."
Look at
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
Uncle
God.
Brian.
Hey, Rosie.
Aunt Katie.
You're a little pain in the ass, Rosie, but you're still
There she
cute.
is.
Super
So-
cute.
We were over at a friend's house yesterday that they have a pit bull and a pit bull rescue, and she has gotten to know me. So
Mhm.
I go down and I'll sit down on the couch, and she jumps up and she's in my lap, and she just stays there until we leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
sweetest
do that.
dog ever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ziggy is a hugger. He wants to like
Put his arms around
put his
you.
arms around you.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's crazy.
Lick your face. Clean out your ears.
Well, I don't think I'd appreciate much of that.
Yeah, I don't like the face licking.
He's super face licky. He likes to.
I don't mind, you know what? Okay, give me a little kiss, and then we're done, right?
Yeah.
So, but leave my ears out of it.
Oh yeah, he
No.
likes ears.
Ugh.
He does. He
Ugh.
really
I don't need
does.
that dog's tongue in my ear. No, thank you. I don't like anybody's tongue in my ear.
Say that now.
Yeah.
That one time that you did it, Brian, it freaked me out for weeks.
Super different. That's so different. Oh, Rose,
Ugh.
Isn't she cute?
she's so cute.
Yeah. Here you go, baby. Here.
Little troublemaker.
She's like, me? No, I'm a princess.
Jenny has voices for our dogs,
Mm.
right? So all of the
We have a
dogs.
voice for Rico. We don't have one for Ziggy yet.
Yeah.
Rico has a voice.
So
He's kind of a dick too. He's
Slightly
very condescending.
condescending and slightly British.
this one, she's a potty mouth.
Oh.
She swears like a sailor. She is the most important being on the planet.
Well, I can see
Yes.
that. I can see that. Does Davey talk with a Mexican accent?
Oh, of course he does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He had a Mexican accent before Jenny came along. Yeah.
That's true. He did. He did. Thanks to Taco Bell. That's really how it happened.
No, thanks to our friend Joe.
Who probably was modeling it after Taco Bell.
Well, that I don't know. I don't know where it came with it, but it was awesome. Yeah. It was pretty good. Yeah. And Stonewall is the king. He is the king and emperor of the planet. We are all his subjects.
Oh. Yeah, Rico's
You
super
understand that.
condescending. He calls me Catherine. But it sounds like Catherine.
Catherine, I'd
Catherine.
really appreciate it if you put more food in my bowl and just walk away, please.
And not when it's empty. That's
Yes, I
too
want
late.
some fresh food.
Hmm I don't want you to wait till it's gone. Feed me before it's empty. Thank you.
Yes.
Well,
You need
Brian-
remedial training.
I feel like I enjoyed my guest spot.
Jeez.
Yeah, and we've completely devolved into
Dog.
dog talk with
Dog
talk.
Oops Origami.
So where did that name come from? Oops, Ops, Origami.
Alliteration.
Okay.
So they just wanted all O's, I guess.
It started with ops oops and then alliteration took.
Okay. It's something I'm sure Chris came up with it.
It was a collaboration.
Yeah.
We're both fond of alliteration.
That's awesome. I would have not been bright enough to come up with something like that. So
I wouldn't have either.
no, I'm not quite that.
We had a couple of iterations, so but that's what kind of stuck. I was like, oh, that's stupid enough to work.
Nice.
I just like the OOO Livestream. Isn't that what it means?
Ooh.
Sure, why not? Well, and like OOO is also out of office.
Yeah,
Oh.
but Are
See,
all three
we
capitalized?
have layers like an onion or a parfait.
That's a better one. Yeah. We're like a parfait.
An onion parfait.
Haven't you seen Shrek?
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, a long time
I
ago.
married you.
There
Haven't seen
wasn't a
Shrek?
quiz.
Maybe there should have been. Maybe there will be next
There
time.
could have been, but it's too late. It's too late now.
You're
Oh, God.
committed.
All right. Well, I guess
Actually,
we're
you guys
watching
are what,
Shrek
year and a
today.
half now? Year and a few months?
No, just over a
For
year.
change. Yeah.
Like 14 months or 15 months, something like that.
Okay, well, you're getting close to a year and a half.
I've just been around longer than that.
Yeah.
That's why it seems long.
God, tell me about it.
I can imagine that proposal. Hey, Katie, I think we can save money on our taxes. Let's do
I was
this.
like, oh yeah, can you give me some health insurance? I can't.
Well, who has health insurance?
I mean, I do, but you told me not to get excited about it. So,
Well, no, I just said that it's going to be changing almost immediately.
right. So don't get
I
excited
mean,
about
whatever.
it.
Well, because I wanted to get you on and under open enrollment, but then my company is going to be doing a group, so
A year
that's not
later,
finalized yet.
I
We messed
was the
around.
tax deduction for that year.
Your tax deduction for this year. Who's my little tax deduction?
Yes, yes.
You are.
Did you do your taxes yet for?
Heck
Oh, God,
no.
no.
We got months.
What? Are you kidding me? I've already got my returns. They're done. I'm done.
You must not be paying in a bunch of money then.
Oh, I'm not paying in a bunch of money. No.
Oh, that's
well, I
probably why
do.
you did it.
No, that's not true. I do give an extra $100 per paycheck to make sure I have enough and whatever. So I'm good to go. What's that?
So that's quaint.
I don't
I
make
have
your
to-
money. So.
I have to do a lot of calculations yet, and
Uh,
after I
yeah,
get through
me too.
inventory, I'm not really interested in doing the calculations for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and I have the crypto stuff,
Ugh.
which is the pain.
Yeah, I imagine that's kind of painful.
We're
I don't
not
know.
in a hurry to give the government our money.
Yeah. Well, I
I mean,
got a buttload back because of my little deduction.
Oh,
It's pretty awesome. So
congrats on your deduction.
thank you very much.
Tell
We
her I
did
said
screw around
hi.
and we didn't get her hooked up to my insurance quick enough, so I have to wait until open enrollment, which I think is in May or June.
You just missed it, I thought.
No, you have like 30 days after your life event or whatever, and then after that you have to wait till open enrollment.
which is in January.
Right.
I think it's January 24th or 26th in Wisconsin.
Ours is in June.
Oh, that must be your company thing.
Yeah, it's a company thing. Yeah.
Okay, the normal open enrollment for Wisconsin it's like late in January. I don't remember the exact date.
I don't know. I know everything rolls over in January where our deductibles and all that crap start over again, which was unfortunate because of some tests and other crap that I had to do in January.
You start piling all your expenses in January, so then you can have a deductible free year.
Well,
That's what I've heard.
Game.
pretty much covered it. Good to go. So, yeah. What does your shirt say besides being backwards? Freedom isn't free. Absolutely.
Yeah, why is your video?
Because she's got mirror turned on.
Yeah,
No,
click
I
on your
think-
little gear
I think I.
and
Oh,
switcheroony it.
There you go. Now it's correct.
There you go. Mucho better.
maybe I'm not used to seeing my face in the camera the right way. Looks
Yeah,
like-
when you're looking at yourself in the camera, it's truly like, look, it's weird because I'm moving my left hand, but it's on the right side of the screen.
Try doing your
Yeah,
makeup.
'cause it's the way somebody would see it.
Try
Yep.
doing your
Well,
makeup.
the settings should only apply to this.
Okay.
When you mirrored it or unmirrored it.
I know it's a setting within the application.
Yes. And it doesn't remember it. So next time you'll have to do it again.
Mine does.
Really? Mine
Oh, maybe it's because you guys are guests.
could be.
Oh.
Could be. I like this
Maybe.
software. Though. I've been looking at some other ones, and this software seems to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I looked at a few. This was the one that kind of stood out.
And it's not terribly expensive.
No.
All right, so we've run this topic right straight into the ground. So,
Yeah, I'm
Probably
good.
time to wrap her up.
Yeah,
It's getting late,
it's a school night.
especially since we had a late start and gotta be up in a few hours.
in just a few hours.
Whatever. It's gonna feel like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't typically ever go to bed before midnight. And then I get up at
Varies.
6. Yeah.
It
So-
does. It varies.
You need to get more sleep and drink more water.
Yes. Drink all the water.
I
Good
drink
night,
tons of water.
Shauna.
There's usually coffee.
Hey, Shauna.
Good night. Good night, Rick.
Good night, Katie. It was good to see you.
I hope I
Good
can
to-
come on here again.
Well, you'll have to ask your boss.
My boss or my husband?
Yes.
They're different, but okay.
Different people.
I will. I'll find out.
All
Actually,
right.
that might be an entertaining episode.
Yeah, bring him on.
Yeah, that might be fun.
That's a thought.
I can't even tell you whether or not that would happen. I can't even venture to guess.
That would be interesting.
Well, show him this train wreck and see what he thinks.
Yeah, see, but just say, hey, send him a link to the YouTube.
She's gonna be like, "You've said too much." I'm like, I didn't use any names or any actual.
All you guys talked about was dogs.
Oh,
You
we
made it
spent
that far?
15 minutes on
Good for
dogs.
you.
Yeah. He doesn't even like.
Half an hour.
All right, whatever. But we were pretty much we ran the topic out. So
Doesn't like dogs. Anyways.
Okay.
Jenny watched a couple of weeks ago. She said she was on for 5 minutes. She didn't know what we were talking about, so she left.
Oh,
No, I get it.
That's a majority of the people that accidentally click on one of our videos.
But that's why I was excited about this because I thought it was a lot more relatable to the average person.
I think you're absolutely right. I think.
So tell Jenny to try again. Watch this one.
Okay.
What she said.
Yes.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, especially the ones that made it to the end. You are MVPs in Rick's mind. Love you all. Bye.
Okay, bye.
We tolerate